Hi, this is Carl with Small Biz Thoughts, and this super success video for managed service providers is going to focus on tools. Most specifically, when to invest and how to invest in tools for your business. Let me start with an analogy. So I'm making, a rocking horse for the baby, right? So I've got a template for feet, and I got a seat, right? There's the feet, and there's the seat. And I got the template and I trace it onto a piece of wood, and I took the wood and I set it next to the scroll saw. And I came back the next day, and guess what? Absolutely nothing changed, because the tool is not the work. The tool is not the product. And I know we love to buy tools and we love to sell tools. But we have to remember tools are just something people use to get their job done. And if they can't use the tool, they don't understand the tool, they don't know why they need it, or if they buy the tool before they need it, then it becomes an expense that they don't need, and it interrupts their ability to actually run their business successfully. That's true for your clients, and it's true for you. Unfortunately, I've had like 3 conversations in the last week about IT consultants, some of whom have been in my program, and we've tried to convince them to stop buying tools, but people just love the tools. And vendors are very good at making you think, if you buy this, it'll straighten out all your finances. If you buy this, your ticketing will be amazing. If you buy this, you'll be able to install it and sell it to every client, and you'll make $1 billion, and everybody's going to get rich, and your life is going to be easy, and all your problems are going to go away because you bought this tool. And so what happens, one of the dangers, is that early on, people buy all the tools before they have any clients. If you have 2 clients, you don't really need a ticketing system, I gotta say. And I'm a big fan that the absolute first thing you need to buy is an RMM. But when I say the first thing, I mean the first thing after you can't do all of the work yourself. And, today that's pretty early on. It's pretty easy to get a client that's got 10, 20, 30, 50 desktops, and then you get 2 or 3, 4, 5 of those, and pretty soon an RMM becomes super, super handy. But don't invest in more than you need. I've seen people over the years buy 1,000 licenses when they have 100 endpoints. I've seen them buy 10,000. I saw one person buy 100,000 licenses when he had fewer than 1,000 endpoints. Why? Because he was sold that if he buys this for this tiny, tiny amount, and the more you buy, the smaller the amount gets per desktop, then you can sell it for so much money, and the math just works out. You invest this and you make this, and now you're rich. But he hadn't done the sales. He didn't even have 100,000 prospects. And it's pretty rare for people to have that many. It's, some would argue, unethical to sell that many licenses to somebody who has to take out a bank loan to pay their monthly payment when they have fewer than 1,000 endpoints. So most people don't get that carried away, but it does happen. It has happened. And it can destroy your business before you get started. So be careful, start slow, buy tools when you need them. Now, what tools to buy? This changes all the time. If you go back to the earliest discussions, literally from 20 years ago, and you go look up a thread, you're going to think it was posted yesterday, because the thread will be, what are you using for RMM? What are you using for PSA? What are you using for finance? Is it QuickBooks or Xero or something else? Those conversations never end. They do morph over time. What are you using for DNS filtering? What are you using for hosting? Who are you sourcing your Office 365 from? Da-da-da-da-da. But the need for tools never ends. And you may need to switch tools from time to time. That's all perfectly legitimate. My only point is, put tools in their place. And why is this conversation particularly relevant today, 2025? Well, it's because the AI frenzy has taken over the universe, and people are buying AI when they have no idea what it is. Some people make the ultimate mistake that you can make with a tool, and that's the analogy to cutting out the rocking horse without doing any work. Buying the right tool doesn't necessarily mean you need the tool, you know how to use the tool, or that you understand why the tool exists. If you use AI to replace yourself, you will be less successful. Good news, you already have a unique selling proposition. It's because you are a unique human being. You are your unique selling proposition. You are what makes your company unique. Double down on that. And if you use AI to replace yourself, understand you will move from your uniqueness towards the middle of the road. You will become more bland. Now, if you use it as a tool to, let's say, do a first draft or do some research, perfect, awesome, amazing. If you push a button and say, write me a blog post, and then copy, paste, put it on your website, that might be the worst blog post in the history of the human race. Or it might be like every other blog post that somebody asked ChatGPT or some other AI tool to write today. I use AI for some graphic stuff, mostly so I can laugh at it, but it does do some really cool stuff. Adobe's Generative Fill, if you haven't checked it out, some super, super cool AI tools going on there. I use Gemini AI to do research, and I have programmed the Gem so that whenever I ask for anything, it gives me sources so I can go read the sources and write. Now, I'm a writer, so, I'm a different kind of animal, but I love doing research, and I think that the AI tools are better than, the search engines, which now are overwhelmingly just trying to sell you something. So AI is good, but it needs to be used as a tool, not a replacement for yourself, not a replacement for customer service, not a replacement for your staff. AI and tools need to work together with the human beings. If you've been to, like around here, I live in California, so around here we have these great Korean barbecue restaurants, and a lot of them have robots. And the robots come and go, and they zip in and out. They bring you the water when you sit down. If you order something special, they'll bring that. And the waiters and waitresses zip around in between them, and they work really well together. It's a combination that works. All of the stuff that's sort of in a hurry and boring and potentially stressful, give it to a robot. And that system works. And then all the stuff where you want human interaction and you want some personal experience, give that to a human being. AI is very much the same way. If you just turn something over to AI, you don't really have a great human-focused experience. But if you learn how to make AI and your people work together, then you have a tremendous killer combo. So be careful with your tools. Don't overbuy your tools. Budget for them. Literally say, when I get to this point, I will buy an RMM. When I get to this point, I will buy a PSA. Early on, I think you got to buy a finance tool of some kind. That's just my bias. But you have to decide what works for you. But have stages where you will adopt the next tool. Know what the next tool is. Do not go to a show, go from booth to booth to booth to booth to booth and buy everything you find. Many, many people do this. A few years ago, somebody actually complained to me that they love going to the show, but every time they come home, they've purchased some new thing that's $1.50 per desktop, and their costs are going up, 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 but they can't really raise the rates for their clients, even though they're giving them better service because of these tools that they've integrated. You have to have a philosophy for integrating the tools and making sure they pay for themselves. So if you're going to improve your service, great. Also, either immediately or shortly thereafter, raise the rates for those services. And you can have a nice little rotation. My favorite rotation is add a little something to the bundle. The next year, raise the bundle price. The next year, raise the labor price. The next year, add something to the bundle. The next year, raise the bundle price, so forth and so on. That nice little 3-year rotation works very, very well. Some people raise all the prices every year. Again, you need to do what works for you, but do not get stuck offering your clients more and more and more, which costs you more and more and more, and charging the same amount forever. Because that just literally forces your profit down, 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 instead of where it should be, which is up, up, up. Comments and questions welcome. Like it if you like it. Please subscribe to the channel. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Palachuk, wishing you the best of luck in everything you do.